Hello everyone, my name is Deepak Suri. I'm Product Manager at AWS. Today I will be discussing deploying line of business desktop apps using Amazon WorkSpaces Application Manager or Amazon WAM. To set context for today's discussion, I'll first talk about WorkSpaces and the problems it solves. WorkSpaces is a managed desktop computing service in the cloud. It allows enterprises and small and medium businesses to set up cloud-based desktops and connect them to their existing on-premises environment. WorkSpaces, the service, allows customers to launch any number of workspaces that are needed. All of the heavy lifting is taken care of behind the scenes by AWS, which means all the hardware and the software is configured as requested by the customer, and it is a pay-as-you-go service delivered on demand, which means customers can scale up and scale down as needed and pay for workspaces only on a month-by-month basis. Workspaces can be accessed by users from a number of devices. We support Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android devices. Clients for these devices can be downloaded from the Amazon WorkSpaces website. Workspaces are integrated with a customer's Active Directory environment, so that allows end users to then log into their workspaces using existing corporate credentials. The service also supports multi-factor auth so that end users can sign in just like they would into a VPN client using a one-time token in addition to their Active Directory credentials. WorkSpaces is meant to scale out to a large group of users. So this means we support features such as golden images, where customers can set up an image with baked-in customizations that are then deployed to their organization. So this is similar to a non-premises desktop environment where an admin might maintain a golden image for their desktops. That's just a brief overview of WorkSpaces. There's more details at these links. The first one is WorkSpaces at scale with Johnson & Johnson, one of our customers who's deployed and is planning to deploy thousands of workspaces. We also have a workspace deep dive session which covers a lot of the networking constructs that are involved with workspaces and also details on how the service integrates with an on-premises environment. Do look at these links to learn more about how to first set up workspaces and scale them in your organization. The rest of the discussion, I'll focus on Amazon WAM and go through a demo of the service. The goal for Amazon WAM is to allow customers to deploy and manage their applications within workspaces. Customers can bring their own applications once they have built in-house or have acquired through their enterprise agreements with software vendors, or are able to even deploy applications direct from the AWS Marketplace, where they can subscribe to applications without any upfront commitments. Amazon WAM allows customers to deploy applications at scale. So this means customers, and especially IT admins, can deploy desktop apps to their users in a secure way. All the apps are encrypted and delivered in secure containers. The apps access for users can be controlled dynamically. They can be deployed and revoked at any time by an admin. The service also supports updates to the applications, so it eases the burden of updating applications and keeping everything in sync across a large number of users in terms of the applications that are deployed. The service uses virtualized app containers. What this means is the application is prepared or virtualized into an app container and can be delivered to a workspace, which is a running Windows instance on the fly. The apps can be fully isolated or virtualized and have a very light footprint on the OS itself. This allows solutions like having multiple versions of the same application running at the same time. You can also test this application in one environment and then deploy this across a large number of workspaces. Amazon WAM empowers their users to use the applications that they would like once a catalog has been prepared by the admin. So your users can optionally select applications that are available via Amazon WAM, install them as needed. And as an admin, you can curate that catalog for users from a wide range of sources. So you can use your own line of business apps, or you can use apps via your EA, or you can acquire these apps via AWS Marketplace. And once these apps are deployed, one of the benefits we see for customers is visibility for using these apps. So from the AWS console, you can see the apps that are being installed by the users and also apps that are being used. So if an app has been used by one of the end users, it will show up in reports that are available on the AWS console. In terms of a process workflow, there are three sources, of course, for these apps: AWS Marketplace, line of business apps, and apps where you own the license. These are populated in the Amazon WAM catalog that is specific to your account. And from your own catalog, you can then deploy these applications to workspaces. To build your application catalog from your own applications, you can take an existing app that you have access to and package it using the Amazon WAM Studio, validate it using the Amazon WAM Player, and then upload it into the catalog. The two steps, packaging and validating, are completed on EC2 instances using images that are available to you that have these applications built in, the Amazon WAM Studio and the Amazon WAM Player. Now, once the apps are available in the catalog, you can then select these applications and then assign them to users in your organization with workspaces. Once the apps are assigned, they are delivered into the user's workspaces by the service. The assignment of the apps relies on Active Directory users and groups, so you'll be able to assign apps by user or by group. Some more details on the packaging steps. The packaging allows for apps that are built for both Windows 8 and Windows 7. It also provides support for both 32 bits and 64-bit apps. It also supports both user mode and kernel mode apps, so complex applications like antivirus that may run in kernel mode are also supported by this packaging. Also, with the app containerization, you can package in drivers or frameworks. For example, you might have an app that has a .NET dependency or a Java dependency that can be packaged in along with the app. One of the questions we get around packaging is how is it possible or how would it be possible to, say, activate an app against a licensed server? This is supported through a feature called Configurable App Events. when an app is delivered into a workspace and is used for the first time or is installed for the first time via the container, you can trigger events which is built into the app. So this is part of the packaging process. You can configure this. You can trigger an event that say runs a VB script that will activate a license against a server that's available in your environment. With packaging, there are 4 layers that are available with Amazon WAM, going from layer 1 through 4. In layer 1, the virtualization is very light, and any app install behaves almost as if it's locally installed in terms of making changes to the local file system or local registry. With the virtualized app layer 2, the app can make changes, so the file system and the registry can change, but any uninstalls will remove these changes from the local OS. Finally, app virtualization level 3 and level 4. These levels, you're applying more of the virtualization benefit. In layer 3, you can set up the application if it has, say, any frameworks or is setting up any event variables, then then those can be made available to the rest of the OS instance as well. So other applications can use the same settings. In layer 4, you would be running in a fully virtualized mode, which means your app is part of a container that is fully isolated. So any frameworks that you package in as part of the container, or any environment variables or registry settings that you maintain as part of the container, are isolated and are not visible to any other application on the OS instance. This mode allows solutions like IE or any other app. One example is Internet Explorer, having multiple versions of IE running at the same time. Next, I'm going to walk through a demo where I'll go through the end user experience first to show what's possible from the end user side, and then also walk through the admin console experience where end users are assigned apps, and also go through the packaging and publishing steps for an application. And finally, from the app that's published, how to again assign it and also see its usage via the AWS console. So here I have the AWS console. I'm already signed in using my IAM user account. I'm going to first visit the WorkSpaces console. Here I can see the list of workspaces that I already have running. I'm going to switch to the application catalog, which is part of the Amazon WAM service. So here I see a list of applications which are either from catalog I've built or are from the marketplace. I'm going to switch to actually using the workspace because I did say that I would demo the experience first. So let's see. So I'm inside a workspace now. How I got into it was I'll actually disconnect to just show the full experience. So it's from the workspace client. I'm signing in. At this point, I'm connected to the workspace. And in the workspace, of course, it's a full Windows experience. Looks like Windows 7. Here are the list of apps I have. So, for example, I can open up one of these apps, Putty. can see that it's installed, and here it is. So how did these apps get into the desktop? So let me just walk through a few steps to demonstrate that. So for example, here is my app catalog, and the source here is AWS Marketplace. So here are a list of apps that are available. I'm going to select 7-zip as an example, and I'm going to assign it to a user. First, I'll select a directory. This is the same directory as the one used for the workspaces. I'll look for a user. Once I select the user, I can then go to the next step. Here I can set up 7-zip for, I can select the version. There's only one version available right now. I can select an installation type, which is either optional or required. Required means the app is automatically deployed and installed on the workspace. Optional means the user has to click on an install button. Now I'll set auto update to yes, so that if I have a new version of the application, we'll be able to push it to the workspace automatically. I'll review and confirm assignment. Go back here and look at 7-zip again. So I can click into the application and I can see the users who have the app assigned. So here's the user that I just selected. Now if I go back to the workspace that belongs to D. Suryan, I should see 7-zip show up pretty soon. So here it is, it's available, and I can install it. So that was 7-zip getting installed via Amazon WAM, and then I can open. So this app is running in a virtualized container and was just delivered via Amazon WAM after I assigned it just a minute ago. Now I'm going to go back to the AWS console. The next step we want to discuss is how these apps can be published. So how do you start from a line of business app, and starting from there, how do you get it to a workspace? So I'm going to go back to the main console. The first step is to launch a couple of instances for the packager and the validator. The packager is the one that will be used for packaging the application. So that's the preparation process. So for that, once you start using Amazon WAM, when you go to the Amazon WAM console for the first time, at that point, the service automatically shares 2 images with your account. So these are Amazon machine images. There is an Amazon WAM Studio and Amazon WAM Player. With this, the Studio is the one that you'll use for packaging. You'll need to launch this using an IAM role called Amazon WAM package. I believe that's the one. The details are in the docs. But once you have an instance running, you can. I have a few that are already running. So I'll pick the Amazon WAM packager. So this is the right role. Sorry. So it's Amazon WAM app packaging. So this role has the instance is launched within the context of this role so that it can communicate with the Amazon WAM service as you're uploading the application to the service once you're done packaging. I've also launched Amazon WAM Player. That's the one that we'll use to validate the application once it's packaged. So next I'm going to go to the Amazon WAM packager. I will connect to it using a remote desktop connection client. So this is an EC2 instance that is running in your VPC or Amazon environment. So I'm going to connect to that. So I already have a RDP connection that's open from my workspace. So on the uh, packaging instance, let's first open the Amazon WAM Studio. Once you open the studio, you will see a list of projects. So these are a list of projects that I already had ongoing. I'm going to create a new project. So for new app that I want to package, this is where I would start. I'll first give the app a title. For this demonstration, I'm going to use a simple app such as Notepad++. We'll give it a name. Then I can select the type of OS instance I'm going to target. For us, it's going to be Windows 7 or 2008 R2, which is the OS available with WorkSpaces. I'll click on install. First, I have to find the installer. I've already downloaded the installer and have put it in the downloads folder. So let's go find that. Once I have the installer, I can then launch. This then launches the installer for the app, and as I go through the installer, any changes that the app installer is making to the OS is captured by the Amazon WAM Studio. Click through the defaults, and that should finish and run Notepad++. I'll go ahead and close this, and now I can see that the installer finished. I'll say OK, and there were no errors. Everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. One of the things you can do once you have run the installer is customize the app package. Here's where you would set up the configurable app event. Example, if you had an app that had an activation script, then you would set up the app to run the activation script once it's installed or once it's launched for the first time. So after virtualization refers to the point where it's been installed on the OS instance. So if I select that, I can then select the frequency for running the activation script. So I can ask the activation script to fire only the first time that there's that is installed, or every time there's a new install. For example, if there's an update, I can ask the activation to happen even after an update. So let's say in this case, if it's after launch, then I could set it up to fire the first time only. So that's the basic setting, and then over here I can specify any script that I'd want to run as part of the activation process. Use local application, that refers to any local app that I'd want to use to run the script. So that is also available here. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this. Next, we'll talk about virtualization. So this is the context for this is virtualization level 1 through 4. So you can have, say, the environment variables that are set by this app to be available for to the entire system or to this application only. You can also have fonts that are available across the system or fonts that will be used only by this application. You can also set it up with start menu. If you want the app to start every time when the instance starts, you would check this box. You can also sandbox the app so that you can control the changes it makes to local file system. So here we have a list of folders that are listed. So for all these folders, there is no sandboxing. This means the app will use whatever folder is available on the local OS instance, whether it's desktop or documents. if I remove one of these folders, then if the app happens to write to a file by default in one of these folders, then a local sandbox is made for that folder. That folder won't be accessible to the rest of the OS instance. The security tab allows you to set up processes so that you can specify if, let's say, you have a process that such as a search process or an AV process or or an antivirus app that's running, then you may not want it to scan every bit of the application. So you can set it up to be excluded so that, let's say, the scanning does not happen on the app container, or you don't have indexing happening on the app container. Here you can select the process and then select allow or deny across the for the container. Those are some of the basic controls that are available. We'll publish more details for each of these configuration steps in our online documentation. But I'm going to move on to completing the packaging process now. Actually, before I do that, let me also talk a little bit about the making updates to files or registry. So these are all the this is the file system, and here I should be able to see, let's say, if I want to make any changes to one of the file folders, I can add a file in, or I can let's say here is Notepad++. If I want some additional localization, I can add it in here. If there are any plugins, I would add a file in here. So you could go to add file, then add more details here. If, for example, if I'm packaging a browser and I want to add a bookmarks file or a local config file, then I would add that in through this feature. You can also update any registries that I'd want. They would get packaged in as part of the app as well. Then if there are any environment variables, I can add those as well over here so that they are part of the application package. So those are some of the basic settings that are available. And since you have packaged the app, the next step is to actually specify where the exe is for the application. So I'll go to program files. So here's Notepad++. Select Notepad++ and open. Say OK. Now I clicked on upload. This uploads the package to the Amazon WAM service. This doesn't publish the package as yet. What it does, there's still one step remaining, which is the validation step. So next I'll go to the validation step. For that I have a player already open, a player instance. So here's the Amazon WAM admin player. Here's the app, it just showed up just now. So this is pending testing. So I'm first going to install it to see whether it installs properly. During the validation step, I would go check for any changes, like for example, if I have any environment variables or any configuration that I've applied, I'll check for that. And once I'm satisfied, I can approve. So here I just installed it. I'm going to open it to see whether it functions okay. So just a quick hello world type test. This is a simple app, but then you can apply the same mechanism to more complex applications as well. So I'm satisfied that the app is working as planned, so I'm going to approve it. This is then going to publish the application to the it's now part of the Amazon WAM service in my and is going to be available only in my account. So I'm going to switch to the console next to again look at how I can take the package that I just approved and then publish it as an application. So going back to the WorkSpaces tab, then going to the application catalog. From here I can select, actually that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to upload a new application. So I'm going to say editor new I'll give it a description. You can select one of the categories that are available. This is provided by Pad++. Leave this as author. Just as a demonstration, you can email a contact. You would want, even if you're publishing apps to your end users, you might want to set the local IT admin as the contact. So I'll set that up. I'll provide a support link. And support description. Next, I'm going to select a package. In this case, it's the Notepad editor. That's the name that's the title I gave the application. It's version 0. I'll give it a version number for the application, then description for the application. And for license type, I'll select by WorkSpaces because a user can only have one workspace. If that's what's supported with WorkSpaces today. So if we had a single user with multiple workspaces in a directory, we could then select by user if the license allowed that format. You can also select the maximum number of installs. So let's say it's 100. So this is the max number of times the app can be installed. So after reviewing the app details, I can confirm and upload it into the service. It can take a few minutes to appear. While it shows up in my application catalog, I'm going to quickly move over to the usage tab. Here you can see the list of applications that have been deployed to your users. You can view this by user. So you can see that 7-zip was deployed from AWS Marketplace, and then there's a total of just one install. So you can also see that there has been one activation. So one user has installed it and has also launched the app. You can also see this by users. So I can select a directory, select a user in that directory to which I have apps deployed. And here I can see that this user, D. Suryan, has deployed 7-zip, and this was done on 7/28, and there's one app installed so far. It doesn't show up as activated yet, but that should change shortly. So if I go back to the application catalog, the app that I added should show up here. Sometimes it takes up to a few minutes. Okay, while this is coming up, I'm going to go through one more step. One of the questions we get is around how updates work with the application. So if I go into the there's of course a couple of ways you can deliver applications to your deliver updates to your applications. If you have auto update, that's one way to do it. But you might want to control the updates that show up in an application per user. So I'm just going to quickly demonstrate how this could be done. So I go back into, so I'm going to close this. Going back into my dashboard. So Notepad editor is the one that I just packaged into an application. So let me see. I'm sorry. Let me go back here. I just want to extract that. So I select and then extract. So this is when I want to make changes to the application. Let's say I have a patch to be applied to the app, then I can do so over here. After I've extracted, I can download a patch and install and run it, install it. And once I have the patch installed, this is just to demonstrate the process. I would automatically update the version number. So it was 0 the last time, it's now version 1, and then I can upload it. So this again triggers the whole process of uploading the package, and then I'll have to go validate it. So if I go back to the validator instance, it should show up over here. So this is the updated package. So assuming that I installed a patch and then I push the package again into the service, you can upgrade. So this is just installing the updated version. So the updated version successfully installed. I can open again to verify. Looks like it's working fine. Then I can approve. So going back to the console now again. So the version that I had published originally is here. So here is the editor, new Notepad++. Just took a few minutes to get there. But once the app is there, I can assign it to a user, same way as I did before. So I select a directory, I'll select a user, search for this user, assign it, and I'll again select optional install but leave auto update on, and let's review and confirm. Now this should push the application to the workspace. So going to the workspace now. Let me close the packager, and here's the new editor that just showed up. I can install it. Should install quickly. And once that's done, I can open it again to verify that it's working fine. So this is the end user experience where I set the install to be optional. They can see an install button, and then they can, once they install, they can open the app. New app that was just deployed. Okay, so going to close this, and then let's see what happened to the app update. So I can again click on this app. I can create, so because I have a new package version that's available, I can create a new version of the app, or I can edit the current version. So I took the existing version of the application, and then I can just update the version of the package. So this is very powerful because you can now, the same app version, if there's patches, you can just move the pointer for the app version to a different package that you created. And once you have the new package assigned, then, so let's see, I can either leave the version title the same. I'll leave it the same here because I didn't really make any changes to the app. Then submit. So it's the same version of the app, but it's pointing to a different package version. Now, if I go back to the workspace, I should see in like within a few minutes that there's a new version of the app available. So here's the message. It's telling me that an upgrade is available for the Notepad editor and must be applied at this time. So this is because I didn't give the user an option. I just turned on auto update. So the user now has to, like they don't have, clicking on OK automatically updates the application. For the update process, it's also possible to create a new version of the application. So I could go here, and since I don't have an updated package available for this app, I see that there are no packages to upload yet. But if I needed to add more patches to the app and then upload it, then I would see a list over here that's available to me. So I'm going to cancel out of here and go back to the main application catalog. So this concludes the session for Amazon WAM and packaging and delivering desktop apps using Amazon WAM. We have more details about Amazon WAM on our website. You can find details on different ways of packaging applications. So we have packaging recipes that are all posted in our documentation. Do take a look, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us either through AWS support or through the Amazon WorkSpaces forum on the AWS forum site. Thank you.